Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing another Bible reading because it is Tuesday, the second day of our week of Bible readings. And we are on Exodus chapter 1, verses 8 through 22. This is called The Israelites Are Oppressed. Now a new king arose over Egypt, who did not know Joseph. He said to his people, "Look, the Israelite people are more numerous and more powerful than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will increase, and in the event of war, join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land." Therefore they set taskmakers over them to oppress them with forced labor. They built supply cities, Pithom and Rames, for Pharaoh. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread, so that the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites. The Egyptians became ruthless in imposing tasks on the Israelites, and made their lives bitter with hard service and mortar and brick, and in every kind of field labor. They were ruthless in all the tasks that they imposed on them. The king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shiphrah and the other Puah, "When you act as midwives to the Hebrew women and see them on the birth stool, if it is a boy, kill him, but if it is a girl, she shall live." But the midwives feared God. They did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but they let the boys live. So the king of Egypt summoned the midwives and said to them, "Why have you done this and allowed the boys to live?" The midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them." So God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and became very strong. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families. Then Pharaoh commanded all his people, every boy that is born to the Hebrews you shall throw into the Nile, but you shall let every girl live. Okay, let's talk about this. We start off knowing more people, and we know that the Israelites, who they are, and the Egyptians, and basically the Egyptians and Israelites are not getting along very well together. Sorry. They're not getting along very well together because the Pharaoh is an Egyptian and he is in charge, basically. So the Pharaoh says, "You are not," if the Israelites were becoming so much bigger than the Egyptians and they were just creating more and more people quicker than the Egyptians were. So Pharaoh saw that as a threat. The king of Egypt, or the Pharaoh, whatever you want to say. The Pharaoh saw that as a big threat, that maybe a boy would rise up in the Hebrew world of the Israelites and come and take his spot, basically, take him over. He was nervous of that. So he says, every child that's born, if it's a boy, you kill him automatically before he's even born. If it's a girl, she can live, because a girl is not a threat to him, basically, because she's not going to take his throne, his crown, his power. But a boy definitely can once he grows older, because he's more strong and more powerful in this sense. So he told the midwives who were helping the women give birth that boys should be killed automatically, whatever way. And that is so wrong on so many levels, but again, this was back thousands of years ago when this happened, and that's how they were back then. If someone felt threatened, especially the Pharaoh in power, he's going to do what he wants, and he doesn't get any backlash from anyone because he's the leader and he's going to do what he wants. So yeah, but God is not like that. God is actually the person in charge, as we know. So the midwives basically kind of lie a little bit and say to the Pharaoh that we aren't there in time when the babies are born. Like, the Egyptian or the Hebrew women are just having the babies so quickly that, like, we aren't there yet. We can't get there in time. So we can't do anything if a boy is born. So that was their excuse, kind of, which I think is, I would not want to kill someone. So that's valid, in my opinion, that, like, you didn't get there in time. That's a good thing to tell the Pharaoh, even though it's lying and should be wrong. But I mean, you're not going to kill a child, especially in this sense. You don't want to do that. So a little lie isn't going to hurt the Pharaoh because he's already saying bad things and wanting to implement bad things of killing children. So, as we continue, we learn that the midwives are just doing that, and then the midwives have to go to the Pharaoh and explain to them what is going on, and then the Pharaoh says, fine, since you can't be there in time, when a boy is born, then you have to throw him into the Nile River, which is one of the biggest rivers in Egypt where they were, and around the Israelites and Egyptians. So basically they said, throw the boy into the Nile and let the girls live. And that's how we end. And I don't know if the midwives actually do that or not, because that's still, again, killing them. So I don't know what plan they come up with or what they do. I'm not sure, because that's where it ends off with that. So we will continue into chapter 2 tomorrow and figure out what happens to these baby boys that are born, if they actually get thrown in the Nile, if the midwives come up with a new plan and a way to trick the Pharaoh, or what happens. So we'll find out. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I don't think killing a baby is a good thing. I don't want to get into that whole controversial thing, but from this story, the women don't want to kill the children because that's just terrible. So, and I agree with that killing children is absolutely terrible and you should not do that. So yeah, I'll leave you with that, and we will start chapter 2 tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.